Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you to the legislators, especially for joining us today, as well as Melissa Brinson from the Buffalo State College Council. And a special shout out to Monica Wallace, who is actually my representative, as I'm a constituent from Salone, so it's great to see you today. Living in Salone my whole life, my parents are two hardworking individuals. They did not go to college. They never had the opportunity financially. They came from hard backgrounds, where their families didn't have that opportunity either. And as a very proud first-generation student, I'm very privileged to say that I went to a SUNY school as well as Buffalo State, where I consider home. And thank you. And I'm very proud to serve as the president of the United Students Government here at Buffalo State College, where I represent many students who come from a similar background as well, both from Salone, from Buffalo, from Cheektowaga, and New York City as well, and from all across the world. SUNY has funded most of my personal education, but I know that I'm lucky. I'm the exception to that rule. There are many of my constituents who suffer from the tens of thousands of dollars of debt that they'll have. And once they go to graduate school, that number will only go up. And it doesn't, take a mathematician to understand the financial burden that student loans have and how that impacts their entire life. But what New York State and previous administrations seem to not understand is the greater impact that has on New York State and the world as a whole. When that student lives with that financial burden, their credit score is lowered, they never gain a sense of financial independence, of financial stability in their life. They cannot invest in themselves, they cannot invest in their own communities. Thus, those communities are impacted. And thus, the quality of life for the entire state of New York goes down. Well, it's very clear that, as previous legislators have mentioned, a high school degree and a GED are no longer the ticket to the middle-class lifestyle. That is an old mindset from the 70s and 80s that doesn't take into account many of the factors that we have today. A bachelor's degree is that ticket, and we have to make that investment into SUNY and get them fully funded, and I would like to thank UUP for all the work that they've done on that issue. Achieving an education at a SUNY school is world-class. It gives you an experience unlike any other. When I graduated high school, I was accepted to several colleges across the country, but I picked Buffalo State for a reason. It was affordable, it was close to home, and I wanted to stay here in my community. I'm very proud of that fact, and I'm proud to serve the student body, but I'm sad to see that SUNY in recent years has been cut, and it's facing so many financial challenges, and in my position as student government president, I've learned that Buffalo State is facing many financial challenges, many issues with student retention, with our own operating deficits, and the financial challenges that come with that. And that future is uncertain, but Governor Hochul has two great opportunities now, starting today. Conducting a national search for a new chancellor who will care about students, following the standard operating procedure of looking for a national search for a chancellor, as well as fully funding SUNY with the 2022 New York State budget, which will address these issues that we've been dealing with for years that have finally been compounded by this pandemic that has totally accelerated so many issues here at Buffalo State, so many other SUNY schools, and SUNY as a system. We can no longer just look at this as an issue that we'll address eventually or that we'll manage in a couple of years. This has to be addressed now. SUNY has to be funded. Unlike many states in the union, we have a very great opportunity with SUNY. It is a tremendous platform. These colleges are so connected, and so many students from New York State and from across the world come to SUNY looking to change their lives. It is an investment that will change their lives forever, their communities forever, and their families forever. So many families put their trust into SUNY by sending their children here. But we cannot abandon SUNY. We cannot look at SUNY as just some political clique or where we'll put in these corporate figures or these political figures and, the students are just the consumers. No, we need to invest in the students. The students need to be the center of our attention, to become the future assemblymen and state senators and legislators of tomorrow, to become the future corporate leaders of tomorrow. SUNY is very important. It is home for many of us and for myself. And I would like to call for the governor to fully fund SUNY and to work with UUP to achieve a budget and to work with UUP and others to achieve a budget that reflects what SUNY can become tomorrow, not what SUNY was in the 80s and the 90s and the thousands in the Cuomo administration, what SUNY can become tomorrow, expanding SUNY, growing SUNY, and finally giving it the funding that it deserves. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Dr. Susan McCartney, who is the director of the Buffalo State Small Business Development Center. And thank you all for your time.
He did a super job. Good morning. First of all, I want to thank President Kowal. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much. And I very much want to thank our president here at Buffalo State of UUP, Fred Floss, superstar Fred Floss. Thank you. And further, I want to mention also, this is the best New York State delegation in the entire state. We are so grateful to you. And by far, and the best looking, right? Aren't they? Okay, so they're superstars. I am a proud UUP member, over 30 years here at Buffalo State College. This is a great place. It's incredible. And, but I do want to mention right off, we don't only want to restore, we want to expand funding for SUNY. Expand. And I'm going to tell you all the reasons why it has to be expanded. Restore is great. Expand is better. And by the way, I do want to mention economic development needs to be on the circle. That would be good in the future. Okay. And why do I say that? I live and breathe economic development. I am the advisor to Buffalo State's provost on economic development, help the college in all areas of economic development, and I direct what I think of as the best small business development center in the state of New York, right here at Buffalo State College. Okay, and further, my center is located in the School of the Professions, and the School of the Professions, it's a terrific synergy between our students, our professors, and economic development. Why? Within SOP, we produce students who are, I call them, they're ready to go. They're rocking. The minute they graduate, they're going to be there. That includes computer science, and dear Dr. Ramona Santa Maria is here. It includes our fashion technology. They're well trained to go into the industry, business, speech technology, fashion, also has about 6 other centers. I mean, it is incredible. They get their degree, they are in demand. Want to mention, no one has missed in the media this. There's not enough people to fill jobs. Aren't you hearing that every day, morning, noon, and night, right? And aren't we hearing a second thing? Besides that is the surge in retirements. Baby boomers, they're saying the hell with it after the pandemic, right? They're dropping, boom, 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 okay? So filling those jobs are gonna be a challenge, but how are we going to fill them? We're going to fill them with SUNY graduates, people getting a SUNY education. It is so important. And in my work with entrepreneurs, they're saying, we got to have people to hire. I said, they got to hire our people. You have to hire SUNY grads, and then sometimes there's just not enough. Not just restore, we need to expand. At the center, which I direct, the SBDC, we work with over 1,000 entrepreneurs per year. So lots of entrepreneurial activity. They're growing, they're a backbone of the economy. You know that, but they need to hire people. Further, we want our SUNY grads to consider opening and operating a business. To do that here at Buffalo State, we do operate a student incubator. Yay, terrific. And please note, people think, oh, business majors. No, we have students from all majors engaged in entrepreneurship. Very recently, in the New York State Business Plan competition, very, very competitive. You're up against Cornell, Fordham, all the NYU, Buff State, SUNY grad, won in Albany, a criminal justice major. We were so excited about it, starting his own business, and he won in that competition in Albany. Incredible. Just, so exciting. Yay again, SUNY against all these, privates. My God, our kids are better. So then next, we have creativity. We have an advisory council. We just met this morning in this. I'm mentioning this for a reason. We met this morning with a group of, we have about 30 people on a board called ICE, Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship. We connect with the community. Buff State sponsors that. We connect all these professionals together to make it happen for Western New York. And also, it's a door to the community for people leading various organizations, very important people. I do want to mention that our current governor, Kathy Hochul, was a member of the SUNY Buffalo State ICE Board, Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship. It was between jobs, okay? She had just unfortunately left Congress, and we were able to persuade her to be part of our team. Very exciting. Please remind her of that when we talk about funding, okay? She was part of our team. Last few points. Workforce development, again, I gotta stress that. And this might not seem as exciting to people, but it's a big deal in Western New York. The industry that was hardest hit during the pandemic, hospitality and tourism. Okay, man, they're just very damaged, okay? But at the same time, in the wake of the pandemic, they're going to be rocking and rolling. We're working with them now. There have been various support systems, but they also can't find anybody to hire. Enter again, SUNY Buffalo State. We have the best hospitality and tourism program in at least the region, if not the state, and we're gonna need funding to support that, support the professors, again, expand, all right? So in terms of workforce development, economic development, entrepreneurship, SUNY is the place where it's happening. This is the centerpiece for New York State's economy. We need its support. Don't contract, don't just restore, but expand funding for the State University of New York. Very important. Thank you. Thank you. You're all so nice. You're great. And I do mention, it's our 150th anniversary. Okay, cool, right? Okay, we're so excited about that too. So thank you all for coming and supporting Buff State and State University of New York. And now I get to invite a lovely person. I want to introduce to you Ms. Nicole Masaki, and she's part of a dynamite group, which I totally support, NYPIRG. She's the project coordinator for NYPIRG. Thank you, Nicole.
Hi, everyone. So yes, my name is Nicole Masaki. I'm the project coordinator for the New York Public Interest Research Group, or NYPIRG, here at Buffalo State. NYPIRG is the state's largest nonpartisan student-directed advocacy organization. We have chapters on 17 campuses all across the state, and we get to engage students on issues that matter, like higher education. Thank you all so much for coming today, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. So during the past decade, New York State has passed budget after budget that provides stagnant funding for higher education, while raising tuition costs and leaving so many students ineligible for financial aid programs. Even though during that same time period, the state's all-funds budget increased by over 26%. While there were some bright spots in New York's higher education budget over the years, the fact remains that the state budget realities over the past decade should not have allowed for increased state support for public colleges and universities, but halted growing tuition burdens placed on public college students and their families. When factoring inflation, the automatic tuition hikes at both SUNY and CUNY have far exceeded the growth of the economy. The erosion of state support is translating into an erosion of student services and quality of education. Students right here at Buffalo State and across the SUNY system have experienced firsthand the difficulty in getting into classes they need to graduate, limited services such as library hours, advisement gaps. That's why over 6,000 students work with NYPIRG at Buffalo State and at schools across New York to sign a petition to Governor Hochul calling on her to usher in a new era for SUNY. By fully funding, thank you. By fully funding SUNY, New York State can invest in more advisors, more student services, and more class offerings so that students can complete their degrees in a timely manner. Cool. Thank you. Increased state funding will alleviate future pressure for a tuition hike, provide critical resources to protect the quality of SUNY education, and provide higher education accessibility for all students. Thank you. And I would like to bring back up Fred Kowal, the UUP president.
Thank you so much. It's Great. Thanks very much, Nicole. I always love to hear from the students. It takes me back to when I was in a classroom, and I miss that so much. It's so exciting, and it gives me hope in the darkest of days. And, you know, we all know that given what's been happening in the world around us, it is difficult sometimes to find hope. But seeing the work that students do and the enthusiasm that students have about building a better future, as I said earlier, we owe it to them, to this year, and it is this year. Turn the tide, make SUNY right, expand it, make it the institution not exactly as it was said earlier, not the way it was, but the way it must be. The world is demanding it. We have challenges that must be faced and overcome, and the way we're going to do it is by generating generation after generation of hopeful, energetic, wise, bright individuals who can do it. And so with that, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Our work literally begins right now, and we are going to continue with the work, and as long as is necessary, until we get the budget we must have. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the media who has been here. We are available for the media afterwards, and for anybody else who has any questions or just wants to talk. Again, thanks very much. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll be back in Buffalo. It's the first time I've been in Buffalo in 2 years. I've missed it so much. It's great to see you all. Thanks very much.